All right, looks like we are live and ready to rock. I need to be looking here on the screen here. Today we're going to be talking about wholesale real estate. What is it? I got a lot of people very, very interested in making money. They see me making money, even though I'm living in different countries, and they're like, "Well, how are you doing that for, 3, 4 years, actually going on 5 years? How are you doing this?" I think a lot of people are interested in doing wholesale real estate, but they really don't know where to get started. They have a lot of questions. How much money can they make? Honestly, what to be expected? How many hours do I need to put in? Like, what's expected? How much should I make? How much will I make? I think there's a lot of little questions. I'm going to make sure that we are tuned in 100% because sometimes I'm talking and can't even. Oh, it is. Oh, I guess you can hear me. Okay, this sounds good. Okay, so I got the questions here on the billboard. If you have anything, I can see the comments right here on the screen. I got them I got them here going live on the screen actually. So we're going to just go ahead and get started. All right, so what is wholesale real estate? Wholesale real estate basically is getting a house super cheap, getting it super duper cheap, and then reselling it to an investor for a profit. But the problem is, or I shouldn't say problem, the thing about wholesale real estate, you really don't even buy the property. You never actually buy it. You just put it under contract, and then you sell the rights to the contract to someone else. Most likely it'll be an investor, but sometimes you get it so cheap that you'll sell it to somebody else. They'll give you $5,000, $10,000, and then they'll resell it again because you got such a good deal. This happens a lot in wholesaling. So a wholesaler will get it. Let's say he got it. It's for $50,000. It's worth $100,000. He'll sell it to another wholesaler for $60,000. He makes $10,000 right up front. Yeah, so what happens a lot of times is they'll get a non-refundable deposit. They'll get a non-refundable deposit paid to them up front before we even go to closing. So if they don't close on it, they lost that $5,000 or $10,000, $2,500, whatever the case may be, and that they just have to walk away from it. But as long as you put it in the disclosure right up front. And so in wholesaling, it can be flipped 1, 2, 3, 4 times. I've seen it happen a lot when a wholesaler just gets a property at a great deal. So that's what the wholesaling is. Wholesaling real estate is basically getting a property under contract that's worth a lot more than what it's worth. So let's just say, for instance, you got it for 50 and it's worth 100. And then you sold it to somebody else, usually it could be another wholesaler, it could be the investor, it could be the end user. It does not matter. What matters is that they're going to give you cold hard cash for that paperwork, for that rights to the contract. And of course you have to write this contract in a way that is solid but also advantageous. It's written to your advantage just in case you have to back out, or just in case that buyer has to back out. We talk about loopholes. A loophole is basically a way out of the contract to get your earnest money back. So we talk about that in the class. There's a lot of little details. There's a lot of little details that you have to know about wholesaling real estate, but it can be very lucrative. That's just there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You can make a good $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 a month. It's really like the sky is the limit. How much money you want to make, it's definitely out there. You need to put some systems in place so that you can run some campaigns. The campaigns are like advertisements, the little signs. Have you seen those signs? I know we all seen those signs when we're driving down the street. We buy ugly houses. We buy houses in any condition. These are wholesalers, and what they're doing, they're looking for a deal. That's all. They never buy the property. 90% of the time, they're looking for a steal of a deal so they can sell it to another investor, another wholesaler, or the end user for a profit. So that's what these signs are. These signs are illegal. So make sure you perform your own due diligence for your city. If you do them, all the wholesalers do them, but there's a way There's a couple of different ways that you can stay in that gray area because you don't want to get in that hiccup of getting in trouble. But okay, so that's how much money you can make in wholesaling: 10 to 20,000, 30,000, $50,000, and there's really not a lot of money up front that you need. You really don't need a lot of money up front. I mean, if you really just want to get started, you can just get started and go to Home Depot and get you some whiteboard and get you some markers and get you the little things that go in the yard, little pickets. Make them yourself. You and your husband, you and your spouse, you and your boyfriend, whatever. Get some signs made up, put on there Joe's buys houses and your phone number, and just put like 100 of them out there. Wait for your phone to ring, and the sign people are going to pick them up, but it's okay. Hopefully one person will call you. Those 100 little stickets may have cost you, I don't know, maybe $40, if that, and some little grit work of you and your girlfriend got out there and put the signs. Then you met with the seller. You kind of figured out what the house is worth, and you wrote the contract. You need to know how to write the contract, so I would suggest you work with somebody that knows how to write the contract, or just take the class. But you can put the house under contract and sell it to an investor pretty quickly. So you're probably asking, where do I get these investors? And so, with Facebook, like when I first started, Facebook wasn't around. This was like 15, 16 years ago. So we didn't have all the stuff that's out there now, but there's so many wholesale groups, and there's wholesalers and there are investor groups. You can just get out here. Once you have a house under contract, you just say, hey, I have the rights to this property at 123 Main Street. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's worth 100. I got it for 50. I'll sell it for 65 for the first person that comes with it, non-refundable deposit of $5,000, $10,000, whatever the case may be, and then you can get the remaining of that other. Like if you sold it for 65, you got $15,000 coming to you. You can get the other 5 at closing. But I like to get some that's just non-refundable, so it just gives you straight profit right from the beginning. If he wants to walk away, the person you flip the house to, then he can walk away. Okay, so there's a lot of money that you can make in wholesaling. So it just really depends on how much work you're actually willing to do. So talking about work, I mean, how much work is expected? How much work should you think you're going to get? You should do, in wholesaling. Once you start turning this into a business and you get your first couple of deals done, and you start seeing like, oh wow, I just made $2,500 flipping a piece of paper. I just made $10,000 making a piece of paper. And once you start getting a feel for it, you're going to be like, okay, I need to get a little bit more serious. Okay, so how do I replicate this? How do I replicate this? I see that I need to advertise more. Okay, so let's advertise to this area, in this neighborhood, in this neighborhood. So statistically, you would have 2 or 3 neighborhoods. I should be able to get 1, 2, or 3 deals. I'm sorry, 1 deal from each neighborhood. I mean, just statistically speaking, let's say, for instance, you make $2,500 to $10,000 off each one. So you just $2,500 times 10,000. Let's just say $6,000 each. 6, 12, $18,000 a month. And then you probably got some overhead costs of $3,000 in advertising, another couple of $1,000 and little different things that are going to come up in wholesaling. So you can easily make $14,000 not really doing much. Like I said, if you just want to get started, man, you and your girlfriend get some signs. Joe buys houses. You're like, my name's not even Joe. No one cares. You just want making it easy. Put Joe buys houses and the phone number. Try to get you a vanity phone number. Get you a little vanity. Why do you say I need vanity phone number? Is that it's easy to remember when cars are wheezing by like 30, 40 miles an hour. They need to they say, okay, oh, it's 888 Joe Homes. Oh, it's 832 Joe buys, or 713 Ugly Homes. Whatever the case may be, they need to remember that little vanity phone number, because that's how they're going to call you. When that phone rings, you get you a lead, and the lead goes to closing and just makes you more and more money. But And I understand, because when I first got started, I didn't have much money. I really didn't have much money. It just got out there and started. I actually started knocking. I was getting the foreclosure list from the Harris County. Like every Tuesday, they used to meet the county with the foreclosure list, and I used to go to the. This is 15 years ago, so this is 2005, and we had a lot of foreclosures back then. So I would just go to door, knocking on the doors and asking if anybody wants to sell their property. If anybody wanted to sell their property, and it was a kill. It was hard, I had to do like a reverse investigating, getting their phone number, knocking on doors, but. It did pan out. I mean, let's see, 15 years ago, I was about 20 years old. And I remember him walking. This guy was about to go to foreclosure, and he just called me up, says, "Hey, man, I'm about to foreclose on him. You want to buy this property?" I knew for a fact it was out there in Jersey Village. It was a nice area of Houston. It was a really nice area of Houston. So I was really excited. I was like, "Yeah, hell yeah, I want to buy this property." I knew it was worth about $240. He owed $164, plus like all the dues and all the HOA dues and all the bank fees. So it came out to about $190 or something. But I knew it was still worth $250. So what I had to do was work with the bank real quick. I'm like, "Hey, I'll give you that $30,000, get them all." And basically he just signed over the deed of the property. I recorded it with the state. Transferred over to me, worked it out with the mortgage lender. I'm going to pay the payment now. I'm going to get them all caught up. And she's like, "Yeah, worked on out." So there's a lot of things you can do in real estate. That's another course that you can get into, is just buying notes and buying deeds and transferring them before they go into foreclosure and pre-foreclosure. If there's some kind of problem, you can work with the lenders, because the lenders don't want these homes back. They're not in the business of managing properties. You really just have to just work with them and know how to put a deal together and look for opportunity. But getting back into wholesaling, what other questions do people have out there? I know a lot of questions are like, "Oh, okay, what's to be expected? How much money I can make?" We talked about that. Do I need any money to get started? No, you do not need any money to get started. You can get started probably as little as maybe $50. You and your girlfriend get out there and make something happen. You really could do it. So, I've seen people get started as low as $50 to $100. You really don't need much. Just a little grit work, make that $5,000-$10,000, and then reinvest it and keep on going. So and what else is that? What does the day-to-day operations look like in wholesaling? So a lot of my personal day-to-day operations would be marketing to clients using like call automation, like robot calls, robot text to whole different neighborhoods, getting them to call me back, seeing if they want to sell their house. If they want to sell their house, I try not to waste any time. Say like, "How much you thinking about selling it for, and how fast do you need this money?" And they're like, "Well, they'll get back to me." Sometimes they're like, "Well, you know what? I need to close on it as soon as possible. I got my taxes that are due, we really need to move pretty fast. So if you can come up with this," and that's what we're looking for, those people that have some type of urgency. If you can get some kind of urgency going, where like they need money, well, then that's how you as a wholesaler can step in. You're like, "Well, I don't have $100,000. I don't have $100,000. You don't need it. I'm gonna write that down. You use hard money lenders to lock down deals." So a hard money lender, so you don't have that money. I know I hear that. You don't need any money to get these homes under contract. Remember, you're getting them below market value. You're getting the property well below market value. So a hard money lender is going to definitely use their cash. Usually it's a private investor who has a lot of cash, and they're just like, "Hey, Yeah, I would definitely lend you that $50,000 for that property because I know it's worth 100. Yeah, they're going to charge you a little bit more interest, probably like 10, 12%, but it doesn't matter because you're only going to keep that property for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. If you're going to flip the property, sometimes 3 to 6 months, but that's about it. And good thing about hard money lenders is they'll give you the money to fix the property. That's right. The hard money lenders will actually give you the money to fix the properties. That's the best thing about it. See, how the way the banking system, a regular conventional bank is set up is that a regular conventional bank will get their money, they'll get their interest for the first, if you ever look at an amortization scale, they'll get their money for like the first 16 years of a 30-year note. All the interest is all the first payments are all about 90% interest, and it starts declining around year 10 all the way to and levels off around 17, then becomes principal because these investors start getting all their money back at the beginning. So that $100,000 loan that you took out in a conventional actually turns out to about $200,000 in 30 years that you actually pay. So yeah, it's incredible if you look at the amortization schedule, how much money these banks make. So yeah, using a hard money lender is actually beneficial for you. They're going to be your partners. Yeah, that's how do you look at them. They're your partners in this wholesaling. They're the ones who have the money and they believe in you. And once you create a relationship with a hard money lender, you're going to see that interest rate drop from 12 to 11 to 10 to 9 to 8 to 7. You're going to see it drop because right now you're high risk. They don't know you from a Joe. You see, they don't know you. All they're like, well, this guy. But once you establish a relationship with them and you're continuously making the money, and then hey, and then pretty soon they're like, hey, you know what? Yeah, you want to do that apartment complex, a 30-unit apartment complex is $3 million. Let's go in it together. You do all the work, you flip it, and you're making all these relationships, and you don't want to burn these bridges. You want to treat them right. You want to make sure they make a little bit of money, not too much, and then just keep negotiating down as time progresses. That's my best tips for you in wholesaling is that you don't meet much. The sky's the limit. You can make $5, $10, $50,000 a month. As much as you want to work it, you can. I would say take this class or take another class about wholesaling. Just learn how to write the sales contract, have some kind of automation going that it attracts new leads coming in. And then have some kind of campaign going like to attract more leads on the street. And then actually have some things that are easy to remember, like a domain, Joe Buys Ugly Homes, or a .com. Make sure you use a .com. There's a lot of these tactics, and I have over 100 little tactics on their website at HPAgents.com under courses and wholesaling properties. It's a very cheap course. It's like $200, but I guarantee you will make money with this course. It's just and we offer money back guarantees, so it's really a no-brainer. You get all this training and everything you need to know to get started. And then after you get finished this, we can go into an advanced course. That's my tips for the day on wholesaling, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, give it a good thumbs up.